Kira here with another scrapbook layout process video, and this time I'm using the Grant Street stamp from Kelly's Stamps, and I got this stamp as a freebie thrown in for me when I ordered from her recently. There's like a delay in shipping and it really wasn't a big deal to me, but she threw it in and I thought it was really nice and I was really excited to get it because I'm sort of obsessed with alphabet stamps. And so I decided that I wanted to do a layout kind of featuring this stamp set. So I started out with this idea of doing like a banner with like a quote on it. So I found this picture of my son Jonathan and he's playing in a puddle, and I found this quote on Pinterest that said, "When life gives you rain, jump in the puddles." And it didn't rain when he was jumping in the puddles, it was just like hose water or whatever, but he's still jumping in puddles, so I thought it was cute. So what I did is I went on my Cricut and I created these little triangular banner shapes, and I had measured out before approximately how big the banner shape would have to be based on the size of the stamp, of the letter stamps, and then I just created the triangle and then just, copy pasted however many I needed. It was like 36 or something like that I needed. And then I went through and I stamped the entire quote on the individual little banners. And then I decided to do some twine kind of across my page. And I wanted to go with kind of like a black and white color scheme to make my picture really pop off the page. I also ended up throwing in some copper because a couple of the pieces that I had picked out had some copper in them, and I was like, I don't have a metallic, so that could work too. So it's mostly just black and white and metallic. And I glued all of my pieces of twine down, and then I glued the banners on top of that. But I didn't want to make you guys watch all of that because it was pretty boring, I guess. Same with stamping the whole title on there. It didn't take forever, but it took longer than I thought needed to be videotaped or video recorded. So I didn't record that part of it. So now I'm going to start working on my layers, my photo, and I just pulled out, basically all these pieces are from my white, black, or gray ephemera bins, and I pulled out some papers from the, what was this collection called? It's the Guy collection from My Mind's Eye. Oh, I don't know. Anyways, I had used it for my husband's Father's Day present, and I haven't used it since, so I decided to use some of that. So I pulled out some of the papers from that, and then some of the ephemera from that too. And I'm just kind of layering up my pieces, just trying to see what would work, and I kind of like how that's looking, so then I go ahead and decide that I can start adhering it to the page. I didn't want to do it on the page yet because the glue hadn't dried, so I didn't want to start like messing around with that and moving stuff around. So I set the page off to the side to kind of let that dry so I could work on the layers off to the side. So I went ahead and put my picture up on some foam, or that's what I'm doing right now. And then I had stapled all of these layers together. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that down, and then I'll put my picture on top of there. Maybe. I wanted all of the pieces to be kind of not perfect. Like I didn't want it to be like perfectly straight. So I was just kind of making things kind of tilted a little bit and kind of wonky, and yeah. And then I go ahead and start putting down all of my little embellishments. I decided that I'm going to put my date on this little tab down at the bottom, and then I'm going to build a cluster off to the side here as well. I was going to use that Cool Kid sticker, and I was like, oh, I don't care that the metallics don't match. But then I started to think about it, and I was like, no, I do care that the metallics don't match. So I ended up not using that sticker. I just changed my mind just then. And I'll end up putting a little banner there instead. And I liked this one that said goals. And what I really wanted is I wanted a piece of something that had the copper in it on that side, but the goals was facing the wrong way. I wanted it facing off, like pointing off the page, not towards the page, or not towards the picture. And so I just grabbed this hello piece, which is gray, and I just decided to use that there. And then because I still wanted to add some copper into that little cluster there, I went ahead and just cut another piece of paper that had the copper element to it and just stuck that behind the embellishment cluster. And then I went ahead and put some more glue behind all of these banners because I realized that they weren't really on there too well. So I'll go ahead and add glue to every single one of those triangles because they're just not adhered to the page enough for me to feel like they're not going to fall off. So I'm kind of just looking through the embellishments again, trying to see if I had anything with that copper on it. And then I think this is where I decided to just stick a little piece of paper behind there. That's just a tiny bit peeking out just to give it a little hint of that copper. And then when I'm gluing down all these banners, I do kind of like pull some of them up so they're kind of off the page, giving the shapes a little bit of dimension as well. And then I felt like it was just missing something, and I walked away, and then I decided to come back, and then I added some splatters. So I have this distress stain that's in Hickory Smoke is the color, and it's just a gray color. And I just decided to add some splatters on the page to kind of just look like, I don't know, like rain splatters, I guess. Raindrops. And I just splatter that all over the page. And once I'm done doing that, that will complete it. So I hope you guys like this, and I will see you soon for another scrapbook layout process video. Have a good day. Bye.